Welcome to this video. Today I'm going to share something which was very interesting for me when we visited Spain way back in 2017. And like typical tourists, we went around seeing all the sites. But what struck me extraordinarily was the Sagrada Familia Church in Barcelona. And this is the unfinished masterpiece of the architect Antoni Gaudi. Sagrada Familia was means the sacred family of Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. And these are the only three sculptures which are inside the statue. And we will now today study the beauty of this church. So this church started its construction way back in 1882. And since then, it has been in continuous construction except during the Second World War. And it has always been built by private donations, thanks to the fact that the Spanish tend to donate 10% of their income to all architectural and art projects. You see in this painting of Joachim Mir, there's a beggar family of a father, mother, and a child in front of the church, Sagrada Familia, is still being built. Perhaps it showed the amount of poverty that was there, yet the church was still being built. Now let's look at the interior of Sagrada Familia. The beauty of this entire church is that these pillars that you see, there are several of them, they resemble trees because they start with a round at the bottom and then they branch out at the top, and the pillars turn from circular to octagonal in shape. This is because Gaudi had a belief that walking inside forests give you a transcendental feeling, and that is what he wanted to recreate inside this church. Now the way he went about designing it, he was an extraordinary engineer and architect. He devised a system of strings and weights suspended from a plan of the church or the temple from the ceiling. From this inverted model, he derived the necessary angles of the columns, which look like trees, and vaults and arches. So this is how he built it. Normally, Gothic churches have flying buttresses which support these tall structures, but he built this without any buttresses. It was a self-supporting structure, and this is how that roof looks with all its pillars which are going up to form tree-like structures on top, and you can see these star shaped canopy-like structures. Each of them have lights in them. They're actually lit, and some of them are lit with the sky, which is having Venetian windows, stained glass windows on them, and some of them are artificially lit. That is how he designed it. Now, if you look at this more carefully, you will see that these tree-like structures, you have these knobs, which one often sees on trees. And here he designed light fittings. And these light fittings too have some design in them, which have some significance. So if you look more carefully, the real beauty of this whole structure is not just in these trees and this fantastic roof, but the light which streams in from the sides of the church windows, the Venetian windows, which are in very many different colors. So these are because of the stained glass windows. There are all colors of the rainbow in it. Extraordinarily beautiful when one sees this. And the experience of seeing all this natural light, because this is all natural light coming in, streaming in the form of these colors through these stained glass windows. So this is an extraordinary feeling. Obviously, the church looks different as the sun moves around the sky. The colors are different, and the feeling is entirely different. The unusual thing about these Venetian glass windows is, unlike normal churches which have lots of figures and stuff, Gaudi had already experimented in his previous buildings on how to use stained glass without any drawings, without any figures. They were just abstract colors of stained glass composition. So that in fact creates even more beauty, because you have less to see over there, except you have to feel these colors which are coming on inside the church, and they are everywhere on all sides of the except at the entrance. On all sides they have this stained glass. Now the three sculptures that I mentioned of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, in that Joseph and Mary are on the sides, but Jesus is right there suspended in the middle near the apse, and there is a big canopy-like structure over him. So this is a small figure over here, which is almost human in size. You can imagine in such a large structure, there is, you see the human size of here, you see the human beings, you can make the scale. In that large structure, the figure of Jesus is just this human size figure on a cross. And unlike other figures where you have Jesus looking down on people when he's in the on the cross, here you have Jesus looking up, as if he is looking up towards his Father, asking for forgiveness for the sins of mankind. So you have his hands raised up, and he's in on that cross. Now I'll just a few more pictures of this Jesus and that canopy. There are wooden seats in front of this suspended statue of Jesus, and it's a meditative experience to sit in this giant space with color and form so abundant. In this grand interior, the simple naked form of Jesus with an oversized umbrella canopy, which has some thorn-like structures, making the canopy look like a crown of thorns, which Jesus is supposed to have been given when he was carrying that cross. So there's many sculptures of Jesus with that carrying having the thorn crown. But here the canopy itself has got some thorn-like structures right there on top, if you see my arrow. And one is struck by the simplicity of this altar. So you have this giant space, and then you have Jesus suspended like that. And then you have these seats where you sit there and you think about what's happening, what was the whole life of Jesus, his teachings. The very simplicity of that altar really strikes you. And right behind that altar is this triangular formation, which appears to refer to the highest high, the Father in heaven. And this too leads you to a contemplative thinking on what could all this mean. So here again, the same triangular form on that apse at the right end of the church behind Jesus. Now, the three sides of the exterior have three separate compositions of sculpture. There is the Nativity, the Passion, and the Glory facades. The Glory facade is yet to be completed. So here you see the Passion facade of the crucifixion of Christ. So this is the plan, and if you see, this is somewhere where the Jesus' statue suspended, and you have entrance here, here, and here. The glory entrance is supposed to be the main entrance, but today it is yet to be completed. So the Passion entrance is where people enter in, and they exit via the Nativity facade. Now below this entire thing is an underground structure where there is the crypt of Antoni Gaudi. He was buried here in this church. And then there is all the scientific explanation of how he went about designing this structure without the normal, buttressing, flying buttresses and stuff. How this very tall, extraordinary structure was designed, and all the documentation. Until today, there are engineers. Now, of course, they're all working on computers, and drawings are all made scientifically. Now, this is the Nativity facade where it was, you see Jesus being with Mary being born, and everything in this church is designed here. This is my picture where I saw this beautiful railing where you have wrought iron just going across this railing as if it's like some ribbon which is tied. Look at the beauty of the simple design. Now this is the exterior. One looks at this exterior, one can never imagine the beauty of what is there inside. The exterior too has to be seen from close. From far, it will not look as beautiful as it is. So let us learn a little more about Antoni Gaudi himself. He was a fascinating person of contradictions. He was both revolutionary and deeply conservative, massively ambitious because he knew that his project would not get over in his lifetime. But he had put out all the drawings and all the scheme much before, including every single sculpture and how and where it had to come. He was at the cutting edge of construction, yet he was medieval, pig-headed and irritable, but also patient and kind. He was an epitome of the Franciscan, happiest when meditating and communing with nature. Yet he was also a passionate Catalan nationalist. Catalonia is the country which wants to, the area of Spain which wants to separate itself from Spain. So he was a passionate Catalan too, but paradoxically, at the same time, reaching towards the universals in his aspirations and ideals. Gaudi had a rigorous self discipline and did painstaking research, and his building spoke of his engineering genius. He may be beatified as a saint by the church, but as of now, he has got the title of servant of God given to him by the Vatican authorities. Now, he is actually inspiration for many modern architects. Some of the famous names are Frank Gehry and Zaha Hadid. Whatever he had started in his kind of construction, even now people are inspired by it. So thank you, and um, I hope this you enjoy watching this video, because this church means something very, very special. And if ever in your life you have an opportunity, you must go to see this church in Barcelona. Thank you.